Hi friends, my name is Cherky Dakulan and welcome to Evangelization TV with the mission of telling the World Wide Web of His love. Friends, this video is a continuation of my previous vlog about the books in the Bible, or part of the books in the Bible. And as promised, I will share with you the content of or the stories of each book in the Bible. And since Genesis is the first book in the Old Testament, then let me start with it. But first, let me give you a short introduction about the book of Genesis. Friends, the book of Genesis is a Hebrew word for Bereshit, or in the beginning. That is why its name derives from the opening word of the book, in the beginning, right? So Genesis narrates the primeval history of the world, and that we can read it in chapters 1 to 11, and the patriarchal history of the Israelite people, and we can read that from chapters 12 to 50. The primeval history includes the familiar stories like the story of creation, the story in the Garden of Eden, Cain and Abel, the story of Noah and the flood, and the Tower of Babel. And on the other hand, the patriarchal history begins with the divine promise of Yahweh to Abraham that he will make him a great nation, and we can read that in chapter 12 verse 2. And in chapter 12 to 25, it talks about the stories of Abraham. Chapters 26 to 36 is about his descendants like Isaac and his twin sons Jacob and Esau. And the remaining chapters of the book of Genesis 37 to 50 is the story of Joseph. Friends, now let me read to you. I have my Bible. I will read to you the first story, and that's the story of creation in chapter 1 of the book of Genesis. Okay, so here chapter 1 is the first story of creation. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless wasteland, and the darkness covered the abyss, while the mighty wind swept over the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw how good it was. God then separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Thus evening came, and morning followed, the first day. Then God said, "Let there be a dome in the middle of the waters, to separate one body of water from the other." And so it happened. God made a dome, and it separated the water above the dome from the water below it. God called the dome the sky. Evening came, and morning followed, the second day. Then God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered into a single basin, so that the dry land may appear." And so it happened. The water under the sky was gathered into its basin, and the dry land appeared. God called the dry land the earth, and the basin of the water he called the sea. God saw how good it was. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth vegetation, every kind of plant that bears seed, and every kind of fruit tree on earth that bears fruit with its seed in it." And so it happened. The earth brought forth every kind of plants that bears seed, and every kind of fruit tree on earth that bears fruit with its seed in it. God saw how good it was. Evening came, and morning followed, the third day. Then God said, "Let there be light in the dome of the sky, to separate day from night. Let them mark the fixed times, the days and the years, and serve as luminaries in the dome of the sky, to shed light upon the earth." And so it happened. God made the two great lights, the greater one to govern the day, and the lesser one to govern the night. And he made the stars. God set them in the dome of the sky, to shed light upon the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. God saw how good it was. Evening came, and morning followed, the fourth day. Then God said, "Let the water teem with the abundance of living creatures, and on the earth let birds fly beneath the dome of the sky." And so it happened. God created the great sea monsters, and all kinds of swimming creatures with which the water teems, and all kinds of winged birds. God saw how good it was. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fertile, multiply, and fill the water of the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth." Evening came, and morning followed, the fifth day. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth all kinds of living creatures, cattle, creeping things, and wild animals of all kinds." And so it happened. God made all kinds of living animals, all kinds of cattle, and all kinds of creeping things of the earth. God saw how good it was. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and the cattle, and over all the wild animals, and all the creatures that crawl on the ground." God created man in his image. In the divine image he created him. Male and female he created them. God blessed them, saying, "Be fertile and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and all the living things that move on the earth." God also said, "See, I give you every seed-bearing plants all over the earth, and every tree that has seed-bearing fruits on it, to be your food, and to all the animals of the land, all the birds of the air, and all the living creatures that crawl on the ground. I give all the green plants for food." And so it happened. God looked at everything he had made, and he found it very good. Evening came, and morning followed, the sixth day. And in chapter 2, part of chapter 2, thus the heavens and the earth and all their array were completed. Since on the seventh day God was finished with the work he had been doing, he rested on the seventh day from all the work he had undertaken. So God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work he had done in creation. Such is the story of the heavens and the earth at their creation. So friends, this is the story of creation, and in the next episode, I am going to share with you the story about the Garden of Eden, the first temptation, and the story of Cain and Abel, the story of Noah and the flood, And lastly, the story of the Tower of Babel. So I will end here, friends. See you in the next episode of this Bible series. Again, my name is Cherky the Kulen. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.